Talk about traveling the waterways of America.
Everybody's talking at me.
CRN, Digital Talk Radio, and Chuck Wilder here with Paul Stern up there near the Hollywood Hills at the network, and we are live across America on this radio station or cable system and around the world at crntalk.com, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Apple, Blueberry, Blackberry, any way you want us. Let's see. Today's guest, the Reverend Al Sharpton, Eric Holder, Nancy Pelosi. Now that we've gotten the April Fools out of the way, let me tell you the good guests that we have. Doug Giles, editor of Clash Daily, will be talking about Obama's desperate rescue of disgraced Army deserter blows up in his face. The Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson, founder and president of Bond, that's a brotherhood organization of a new destiny, and also founder and president of the South Central LA Tea Party, discussing Black America's bias against whites. In the second hour, Jonathan W. Emord, attorney who practices constitutional and administrative law, author of Restore the Republic. A couple of good ones. Well, the one we're really going to concentrate on, and this is a whole new look at this, very interesting, the National Socialist roots of compulsory vaccination. So interesting. Well, Iran nuclear negotiators resumed talks today, just hours after abandoning the March 31st deadline. However, as the discussions dragged on, 3 of the 6 foreign ministers involved left the talks. Prospects for agreement remain uncertain, claiming enough progress had been made to warrant an extension after 6 days of intense bartering. And eager to avoid a collapse in the discussions, U.S. Secretary of State, I hope I win the Nobel Peace Prize, John Kerry, and his British and German counterparts huddled with Iranian Foreign Minister Zarif to continue the marathon effort, and they're going to continue into tomorrow. Saudi Arabia's newly installed defense minister told members of Congress on a recent trip to the oil-rich nation that, quote, Iran can't be trusted. This information provided by Representative Vern Buchanan, Republican from Florida. He's a member of the House Ways and Means Committee. He participated in a meeting with Saudi Arabia's defense minister, Salman, who is the son of the newly crowned king, Solomon, to discuss regional issues and Iranian aggression. Well, the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu had a statement to make on negotiations with Iran. You may have heard, and if not, shouldn't shock you if you're really up on things. Yesterday, an Iranian general brazenly declared, and I quote, Israel's destruction is non-negotiable. But evidently giving Iran's murderous regime a clear path to a bomb is negotiable. This was the remarks from Netanyahu, and he said, I agree with those who have said that Iran's claim that its nuclear program is only for peaceful purposes doesn't square up with Iran's insistence on keeping underground nuclear facilities and advanced centrifuges and a heavy water reactor. Nor does it square with Iran's insistence on developing ICBMs and its refusal to come clean with the IAEA on its past weaponized efforts. At the same time, Iran is accelerating its campaign of terror, subjugation, and conquest throughout the region, most recently in Yemen. The concessions offered to Iran in Lausanne would ensure a bad deal that would endanger Israel, the Middle East, and the peace of the world. Now is the time for the international community to insist on a better deal. A better deal would significantly roll back Iran's nuclear infrastructure. A better deal would link the eventual lifting of the restrictions on Iran's nuclear program to a change in Iran's behavior. Iran must stop its aggression in the region, stop its terrorism throughout the world, and stop its threats to annihilate Israel. This should be non-negotiable, and that's the deal that the world powers must insist upon. Those statements from Benjamin Netanyahu, and I guarantee he didn't stumble like you-know-who there. Yes. Barack Obama, the president, yesterday shortened the prison sentences of nearly 24 drug convicts, including 8 that were serving life in prison. It's an act the White House says continues Obama's push to make the justice system fairer by reducing harsh sentences that were handed down under outdated guidelines. The effort, and by the way, they could be outdated, but perhaps you should go through a system, in my opinion, to see if they're really outdated. And imagine 8 people serving life in prison, and you're set free. Anyway, this effort could lead Obama to grant clemency more often as his second and final term in the office winds down. In December, Obama issued his first round of communities under a new guideline that were put in place to cut costs by reducing the growing prison population and grant leniency to non-violent drug offenders sentenced to years-long terms of confinement away from society. A commutation leaves the conviction in place, but it ends the punishment. 2 stories here that tie in together from this transparent administration. A federal used $60,000 in taxpayer funds to buy Armini Louis Vianta Disneyland vacations for her personal use. This from the Washington Examiner. The Equal Opportunity Employment Commission is supposed to be an advocate for victims of workplace employment discrimination, but the documents obtained under the Freedom of Information Act show that at least one of its employees had been living quite well, using money that was supposed to fund the agency's programs. The Philadelphia EEOC office began buying American Express gift cards and paying contractors with them, apparently so the contractors couldn't run up limitless bills. Well, that action was taken following a 2012 incident which a contractor used a commission credit card to run up a huge bill of unauthorized charges. Well, the employee whose name was redacted, in the Freedom of Information, but who had worked at the commission for 22 years, stole cards worth $3,000 apiece over 2 years, totaling $60,000. And now today, Mr. and Mrs. Listener, from the most transparent administration in the history of the world, we'll let you know what's going on. Guess what? A redesign of a transparency website. Yeah, that's what Obama had. They had a transparency website that provides information on federal spending by the Obama administration. Well, now they're going to make it more difficult for you, the taxpayer, to see how taxpayer dollars are spent. USAspending.gov. It's a website mandated by law, L-A-W, that thing that some people ignore, a website mandated by law to provide detailed information on every federal contract over $3,000 received a makeover yesterday. Users can no longer search the federal spending by keywords, sort contracts by date, or easily find any detailed information on awards which are delivered in bulk. Information such as how much the Pentagon spends on Viagra, used to be available at the click of a button. Locating those same contracts now on the new website, virtually impossible, akin to finding a needle in the haystack. Now, in its previous form, the transparent form there, so you could find out how they're spending your money, the website provided easy access to how taxpayers' dollars are spent and how it happens. A user now must have the federal grant identification number to find details of a contract. Could this be, maybe even in your opinion, the biggest lie that ever came out of this administration? I mean, there are so many. But that we are going to be the most transparent administration? Hillary's emails, Lois Lerner's emails, Eric Holder's files on Fast and Furious. Boy, oh boy. Well, the Obama administration's plan for the UN climate change, formerly known as global warming talks, encountered swift opposition after its release yesterday, with Republican leaders warning other countries to proceed with caution in negotiations with Washington because any deal could be later undone. Now, you Republicans know how they jumped up and down when you wrote a letter to Iran, and now you're saying that any deal that he makes on the global warming and giving away our money might be later undone. Well, the White House is seeking to enshrine its pledge in a global climate agreement to be negotiated November 30th to December 11th in Paris. And here's the sweet talk. You know, they always got to have something that sounds good. We're going to cut the greenhouse gas emissions by close to 28% from 2005 levels within a decade. And we're going to host a host of existing laws and executive actions targeting power plants, vehicles, oil, gas, and buildings. But the Republicans say the administration lacks the political and legal backing to commit the United States of America to an international agreement. Considering that 2/3 of the U.S. federal government hasn't even signed off on the Clean Power Plan, and 13 states have already pledged to fight it, our international partners should proceed with caution before entering into any binding, unattainable deal, according to Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. Surprised me. I guess somebody finally pulled his string there after the midterm elections, and he decided to speak up. Anyway. Hey, legendary singer-songwriter Joni Mitchell, she was rushed to the hospital yesterday after falling ill at her L.A. home. Canadian musician's official Twitter account confirmed her hospitalization. 2 hours later, JoniMitchell.com tweeted, Joni is currently in intensive care in an L.A. area hospital, but awake and in good spirits. Let me see which one I want to get through this really quick here. I got to pick the one. All right, yes. The co-pilot who crashed Flight 9225 French mountainside last week had informed the German carrier Lufthansa in 2009 about a previous episode of severe depression. This, according to the airliner, yesterday, raising fresh questions now about a series of decisions that allowed Lubitz to stay in the skies. The admission that the company knew at least some of the history of his mental illness came after the company's chief executive said last week that Lufthansa, parent of the budget airline Germanwings, for which Lubitz worked, had no previous knowledge of his medical history. Well, that story is going to be around for a while, yes. Coming up next, Doug Giles, editor of Clash Daily, the Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson, and the attorney Jonathan W. Emord.
over 20 years, you've trusted Lumber Liquidators to make high-quality, beautiful flooring affordable for everyone. Delivering this value means you get the floor you want at the low price you deserve. So we've lowered prices even more. This week, get stunning espresso, Hevea, 3/4-inch solid, pre-finished hardwood for just $2.99. Or natural strand bamboo for 41% less than our competitors. And 18-month special financing. You trust our value, we value your trust. For quality hardwood, see the flooring experts. Visit LumberLiquidators.com to find a store near you.
We are perfectionists. We do it right and don't stop until the job is done. We build commercial zero-turn mowers with maneuverability, power, and comfort. Who are we? We are Kubota. Now, during our More Power to You sales event, you can get long-term financing as low as 0% APR on new commercial-grade Z700 series mowers.
For more information or to find a participating dealer, go to Kubota.com.
Come to Angelo's and Vinci's Restaurante in Fullerton, California for our sizzling party savings. Book your wedding event or reception, your birthday bash, or a special event of any kind and celebrate at Angelo's and Vinci's. Come to Angelo's and Vinci's and celebrate in one of our many festive banquet rooms. It's an incredible fun event you'll never forget. Food, music, and lots of fun. Call for the details and don't forget our daily lunch and dinners, plus our Sunday champagne brunch. Just $14.95. Minestrone soup, sausage and peppers, pastas, chicken dishes, salads, scones, and muffins. Plus so much more, a chocolate fondue fountain, Zebblies, cannolis, fresh fruit, champagne, and Junior will be waiting to make the omelet of your choice from our omelet bar. Angelo's and Vinci's has been voted on the Orange County Hot List as one of the top 5 Italian restaurants for the past 6 years. And don't forget our award-winning pizzas. Thin or thick, they're yummy. It's all at Angelo's and Vinci's Restaurante at 550 North Harbor Boulevard in Fullerton, California. Call 714-879-4022, 714-879-4022.
Have you ever considered adding a home security system but thought it would be too expensive? Here's the good news. There's never been a more affordable time to help protect your home, valuables, and your loved ones. You can now get a $100 Visa card from Protect Your Home, your authorized ADT dealer, with the installation of a new ADT monitored system. Here's even better news. Your new system, worth $850, is free. You pay just a $99 installation charge and purchase monthly monitoring for less than $2 a day. Call Protect Your Home today at 1-866-669-8954. That's 1-866-669-8954. Get the peace of mind that comes with owning an ADT monitored system, plus a $100 Visa card from Protect Your Home. Call now, 1-866-669-8954. That's 1-866-669-8954. 36-month monitoring contract required. General terms and conditions apply. Visit protectyourhome.com/terms.
Everybody's talking at me.
Chuck Wilder, CRN. And let me tell you about my guest, Doug Giles. He is editor of ClashDaily.com, also author of Rise, Kill, and Eat, a theology of hunting from Genesis to Revelation. And, boy, I'm telling you, you look at the thing that caught my attention, and I said, boy, I got to get Doug. Just the headlines. How many people did this guy get killed? Should he face the hangman's noose? Questions up in the air. And we're speaking of course, Bergdahl. Hey, Doug, how are you? And welcome back to the show, sir.
Good, man. Thanks for having me on.
You know, I look at some of these flashbacks here, right? Flashback. Susan Rice, as she talks about Bergdahl, the deserter. He served with honor and distinction. And the commander-in-chief, who doesn't know, absolutely no apologies. Oh, boy. This guy is so hard-headed. I'm talking about the President of the United States. Sergeant Bo Bergdahl traded for 5 Taliban leaders last year. Was it the right move, or did it blow up in their face? Lots to talk about on this thing, Doug.
Yeah, no, it's disgraceful, man, that the Islam apologist-in-chief, one Barack Hussein Obama, would trade 5 Taliban generals who I believe they're implacable. I don't think they like the West too much, particularly the great state in America. And so he trades in the deal from the abyss, these 5 Taliban generals, frees them for one deserter, Bo Bergdahl. And for your listeners who might not be hip to this, I believe it cost 6 of our soldiers, 6 or 8, I can't remember exactly how many. It cost 6 or 8 of our soldiers their lives looking for this moron. And like you said, Susan Rice, Joe Biden, ABC News, CNN, MSNBC, and the White House said that Bergdahl served with distinction. Well, when he initially was traded for, again, these people that hate us and want to kill us and will do it again, everybody and their dog that served with Bergdahl said that he was a deserter, and they were summarily whizzed on by the media. Well, lo and behold, numbnuts is going to be charged with desertion. And Obama has egg on its face. But you know what? He can do that stuff to us, Chuck, and the media won't call him on it, won't condemn him on it.
No.
And, he walks away with impunity.
You know what? I was looking at the ratings, television ratings, all right? And the good thing is, Doug, is that conservative talk radio, conservative articles, and Fox News, the word gets out, thank goodness, and they've got the highest ratings. I mean, just totally annihilating the others, the mainstream media and all the other cable networks. That's the good news. But, you know, when you say 6, possibly 8 American soldiers killed because of this guy after he deserted, see, they're really hiding all that information. I know they know a lot about it, and I've heard little bits and pieces. I've heard that, you know, some of them were just, you know, trying to find him in the general direction, and they were shot by sniper or whatever. I also heard that the enemy was using Bergdahl and something to do with the radio. They had a radio and giving false reports so the soldiers would walk into an ambush, and you kind of wonder what part did Bergdahl play in that, you know. And then I think one of the most upsetting things, besides even the president in a rush to try to empty Gitmo, one of the most upsetting things is that we don't deal with terrorists, but this commander-in-chief holds a rose garden party with his father and mother, and his father praying in Muslim, and I mean, it's the wrong picture, Doug. It's not an American picture, okay?
Yeah, in the meantime, Chris Kyle's widow gets nothing from the president. They don't send anybody from his administration to his funeral. And like you said, he's got Bergdahl's goofy dad, you know, praying to Allah and his prophet, who I believe was a pedophile from the 7th century. And in the meantime, Chris Kyle, nada. Michael Brown, Trayvon Martin, get anybody who is, you know, thug or a Muslim, and Eric Holder and Valerie Jarrett and Obama are all up their tailpipe. But get anybody.
You're certainly trying to make my day. Hey, Doug, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right. We'll be right back. Doug Giles, editor of ClashDaily.com. That's Clash, C-L-A-S-H, Daily.com. In a moment, we'll talk about the possible sentence that he could get, if he gets. You just never know what's going to happen. And then, you know, who knows? He might get convicted and the president sets him free. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Doug Giles will be right back.
This is the Mike Huckabee Report for Wednesday, April Fool's Day. The Internet has given a megaphone to people who never had one before. That story next. Looking forward to your tax refund? Well, so are identity thieves who steal refunds by filing fraudulent tax returns. Last year alone, they stole more than an estimated $5 billion from hard-working Americans just like you. Once an identity thief gets a hold of your tax forms, watch out. They know that virtually all the information they need to steal your identity and even your life savings is right there. Help protect yourself with LifeLock Ultimate Plus. LifeLock Ultimate Plus provides protection for your Social Security number, bank accounts, investments, even the equity in your home. And while no one can stop all identity theft and nobody can monitor every single business, LifeLock Ultimate Plus provides their most comprehensive identity theft protection available. If you're filing taxes this year, especially if you're filing online, do what I did and get LifeLock Ultimate Plus. Visit LifeLock.com/Huckabee now or call and use promo code Huckabee to save 10% on your LifeLock Ultimate Plus membership. Call 1-800-240-LOCK, 800-240-LOCK, 800-240-LOCK. Get details on the Huckabee Exclusive at HuckabeeExclusive.com. Winnipeg's West Broadway Youth Outreach Center holds a sports tournament that ends with gag awards. One 8-year-old boy won the Captain Crybaby trophy, complete with pacifier and a bag of diapers. Well, that ignited outrage on social media. People called it bullying and demanded an apology. The coach said he never meant to hurt anyone's feelings, but that wasn't good enough. Then the boy's mom said she was disgusted and embarrassed. Oh, not over the coach. She says he loves those kids. She's furious at all these self-appointed social justice warriors. Her son thought the award was funny. His self-esteem was fine until he became the center of all that internet pity and attacks on the center in his name. Now he won't even come out of his room. Gee, sounds like someone owes him an apology, and it better be good. The protests against Indiana's Religious Freedom Restoration Act are growing louder by the day. The Republican leaders of Indiana's House and Senate said it was not intended to allow discrimination against gays, and they will amend the bill to make sure that's clear. But rewriting a bill that even the Washington Post admits very few people understand in the first place probably won't stop the protest. Supporters point out that there's already a federal religious freedom law signed by Bill Clinton and similar laws in at least 19 other states. Critics reply that Indiana's is unique, though, because it covers for-profit businesses, like South Carolina's does, and it allows people to cite the law against private lawsuits even if no government entity is a party to the case, like the Texas version does. But the boycott threats and bad publicity are all aimed at Indiana, so it's likely the law will at least be amended. In the meantime, it's interesting to see all this outrage from people who don't seem to be too clear on what they're outraged about. For instance, the rock band Wilco canceled its upcoming concert in Indiana. Then someone pointed out that their tour also includes stops in 8 other states that have similar laws, including their home state of Illinois, which has a religious freedom law that Barack Obama voted for. I wonder if the band ever considered the irony that by canceling their show in Indiana, they're asserting their right to refuse to provide their professional services to people whose religious views they disagree with? Oops! Well, lucky for them, there's a law in Indiana that protects that. And finally, I couldn't help but wondering if all the diversity warriors opposing this law realize that the Federal Religious Restoration Act of 1993 grew out of a court case involving a Native American fired for failing a drug test because he used peyote in his religion. Somebody might want to tell the rock band that they're protesting a law that protects drug use. And this is the Mike Huckabee Report.
Everybody's talking at me.
CRN, Chuck Wilder with my guest Doug Giles, Giles, editor of ClashDaily.com, author of Rise, Kill, and Eat. Hey, is the book available at ClashDaily.com? Do you have a link there, Doug, or how can the listener get a copy of that?
Yeah, we got a link there, Chuck. They go to ClashDaily.com, just look for About, and then boom, there's Doug's book will pop up, and it's also available on Amazon. That's Rise, Kill, and Eat.
All right, thank you. Now then, there was a lot of criticism from fellow service members for his action. The administration facing heated complaints from Congress over the Taliban trade itself. And a quote from Representative Mike Rogers, Republican, Michigan, then the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. He said that this fundamental shift in U.S. policy signals to terrorists around the world a greater incentive to take U.S. hostages. Once again, this president goes out on his own little, whatever you call, ego, I guess, and decides, I'm going to determine what we're going to do about those nasty thugs, or whatever word he's using for terrorists that day. And as it stands right now, he's being charged Article 32, and he's going to be held at Fort Sam Houston, San Antonio. Then they have a proceeding that's similar to a grand jury. From there, it'll be referred to a court-martial and go to trial. Do you know right offhand, Doug, the possibility of what he can get, the penalties?
Honestly, no. I've listened to the experts, and they're tossing out numbers from 5 years, to 20. But like you said, Obama's probably going to pardon the bastard and let him walk. CNN was yarbling on the other night. I don't know if you saw this, and I threw up milk. It shocked me so much, and I hadn't had milk in the last 8 years, Chuck. They said, hasn't Bo Bergdahl suffered enough?
Oh,
I'm sitting there thinking, the only people that's really suffered in this, aside from America, to see their commander-in-chief act with such blatant disregard for common sense, for patriotism, for the spirit, the core of our military, is the family members and the children of those lost folks that went looking for the deserter Bo Bergdahl. It's amazing. Here, the CNN host wants to cut him some slack. Here we're talking about leniency, with a light sentence of maybe 5 years for what he did. And this is low ebbing, man. And like you said, his policy to terrorists worldwide, the Obama doctrine is this. If you get one of the worst critters who's betrayed the United States and you hold him for a little while, we'll cough up 5 of your top terrorist Taliban generals. I mean, this is just unbelievable. Churchill's rolling over in his grave. Roosevelt is. MacArthur is. They could probably light up Vegas. They're spinning so fast. I don't know what we got in the Oval Office, but it sure doesn't reek of America and our Constitution and our exceptionalism.
Yeah,
it's a bad day. It's a black eye, bro.
Yeah, and and the whole Muslim shadow of the whole thing in the Rose Garden, just like, was that one of the reasons that he went out of his way, the president? And also Bergdahl, they found a note in his tent right after he had deserted, and he said he was leaving to start a new life and intended to renounce his citizenship. But now the defense, Doug, and I think you know about this, is that they're saying it's not going to hold any water because they're saying that, he was concerned about the way he was being treated, and he thought he was being treated unfairly, and that's why he left, and because he couldn't complain to the higher-ups in his platoon or whatever. And see, that's all BS, because they were just getting ready to leave.
Yeah,
go ahead.
That's part of the wussification process of America, where foot soldiers can whine about MREs, or their commanding officer might be a little curt towards them while they're being a tool. And the fact that stuff could be admitted as evidence, the reason why his synapses kind of skipped a communique, and all of a sudden he betrayed his vows to serve and protect our country. It just goes to show you how creepy, how politically correct we've become, and how that kind of nonsense is going to set up our soldiers to be slaughtered, and how it's going to come, chickens are going to come home to roost here, and a lot of bad people are going to feel, like you said, Chuck, emboldened to go even further because we have a nutless wonder in the Oval Office.
Mm-hmm. And as I said, they were getting ready to go, I think, the Forward Operating Base, FOB. They were getting ready to leave. He would have been, safe territory. He could have cried all he wanted to, or whatever the case might have been, and solved it there. No, he wanted to desert, and it's disturbing, the whole thing. Hey, Doug, all out of time. Once again, the best website is ClashDaily.com. Is that right?
Yep, ClashDaily.com is my main stomping ground.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll do it again, sir.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Let us go now to the Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson, founder, president of two dynamic organizations, BOND, B-O-N-D, that's Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny, all right, and Bond Action Incorporated. By the way, BOND is a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. He is also founder and president of the South Central LA Tea Party. And let me see if I have the right page here. I'll find it. Hey, Mr. Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson, how are you, sir?
All is well, Chuck. Chuck, you have a great voice for radio.
Yeah, but not the face for it, you know. What can I say? Where is that? I was looking at you got a book, and I had a title here. Oh, Scam, S-C-A-M.
Yeah.
All right. How the Black Leadership Exploits Black America. Is one of the ways they're doing this, Reverend, are they the black leadership convincing blacks that whitey's no good?
Without a doubt. They're keeping them angry, and in that state of anger, they are convincing them that white Americans are against them, that white folks hate them because of their color, and black people can't see that they're being lied to, because when you're angry, and most blacks are racist toward white Americans, when you're angry, it's hard to see the truth. As a matter of fact, you can't even see that you're wrong. You know, a human being can't see that they're wrong as long as they have anger. And so what Obama and the black preachers and others are doing, whenever they want to control black Americans, they look for a white-on-black situation, and they say, look, this is racism, and blacks go into a hypnotic trance, and whatever these people want to do, they're able to do it.
In a recent article you wrote, you said, most black Americans are racist toward white Americans to a point that they have become like what they hate. They have been complaining about the KKK and Jim Crow laws and how you see some of them now doing exactly to the white Americans what they claim they have done to them. How serious is all this?
You know, our battle is a spiritual battle between good and evil. And there are, good is working through some, evil is working through others. And when you judge evil, if you judge the person, you become like the person you hate. And black Americans have been whimpering and whining and complaining about Jim Crow laws and about the KKK, and most of them don't even know anything about it.
Yeah.
Because they were not around anyway. They're just going on hearsay. But over the years, they have not been corrected. And so now they have become like the KKK and Jim Crow laws. For example, we have seen black Americans, not all, of course, but we have seen them attacking white folks in the knockout games. Hardly a day goes by now when some white person somewhere in this country is not being, they are being attacked by blacks, whether it's on a metro rail in New York or Philadelphia or here in L.A. We see them killing whites. We see them burning some whites. There have been reports of white people set on fire by black people. And those are the same things that they have been complaining about over the years. And instead of dropping their anger and forgiving the way Martin Luther King suggested, they have hated. And now they are worse than what white Americans were back in the past.
You know, in another article that you had written, you mentioned that instances of whites attacking blacks are so rare that blacks have to manufacture them. But black-on-white violence is commonplace, though it's well hidden by the media and the black leaders. Is it almost like the hands-up scenario, Jesse? Do they manufacture instances of whites attacking blacks sometime?
100%. It's
really?
It's such a rare, even, you know, the hands up thing, we all know now that was a lie. It was just something made up.
Yeah.
It's so rare that you hear about white on black violence until they have to make up lies, because it's literally not happening. But I have to tell you, it is awful when it comes to black on white violence. And it's only going to get worse because Barack Obama, Eric Holden, and others used that Ferguson situation, and they have created an environment that gives Black Americans confirmation or make them feel that it's right to attack white people. And unfortunately, most white people are so afraid of being called racist, and they have catered to Black Americans that they are bringing out the worst in them, Chuck. And it's just going to only get worse before it get better due to the fear of white Americans.
You know, and not only do the blacks have, you know, Holder and Obama and Sharpton, you know, pushing them, and yeah, you're wonderful, it's okay.
Yeah.
But you also mentioned, Reverend, that you say that racism against the whites is 100% acceptable. 100% acceptable in black communities. I don't know how in the world that could be possible.
Well, black people have been told by their traders, their false leadership, the race hustlers, that black people can't be racist. That you don't own anything, so you can't be a racist. So they're in denial about it. And so during this time where there is black or white racism, outright racism, there is no discussion about it. No one is saying that it's wrong. No one is saying that black people are racist, so they don't even recognize that they're racist, but yet they're carrying out racist acts toward white Americans.
So then you get to the point where if you're black in a community and you don't agree with, you know, being held down and you decide, no, you guys, wait a minute, you're not looking at it right, then you're going to be, you know, the Uncle Tom. You're a sellout, as you say, and I guess then you have black on black crime because you're going to get beat up because you don't agree with the blacks.
That's right. If their hatred runs so deep toward white Americans that if there's one black out of 1,000 that disagrees with them, that is not white racism that's holding blacks back, it's a lack of moral character, and that blacks need to stop blaming and whipping and whining and begging, take control of their own life. Immediately, right away, they'll turn on you. You become an enemy of the black community. They call you names. They discriminate against you. They threaten your life because they don't want to be reminded at all that they are wrong. And the worst reminder is another black person. They do not want to hear that. That's one of the reasons you don't hear a lot of blacks who disagree speaking out publicly, because they're afraid of retaliation. And black people, not all but most, are angry people, Chuck. They are a unforgiving people, and they are not connected to God. They have no love. And when they turn on you with the power of hell behind them. And it's rough, and a lot of blacks are afraid to deal with that.
You know, when Obama was running both times, I remember black actors. It's amazing, you know, how actors, all of a sudden, actors, actresses, they're the authority. Let us ask this guy, you know, what he thinks about. And you would have black actors, there were two of them, that were coming right out and said, vote for Obama because he is black. You hear me? Vote for him because he's black. If you were white and you said, you know, vote for Bush or whoever because he's white, oh boy, then you're racist. But you say, in your article here, they voted for Barack Obama twice because he's black. We have the Black Congressional Caucus because they're black. Not because they lack moral character, not because they're good people. It's because they are black. And if you had a white majority of Americans voting for a person of the white race simply because they are white, they would be called racism. But in the black community, it is acceptable. Wow.
Wrongdoing is acceptable in the black community all around, especially if it's against white folks. And you're right. Just imagine if white Americans, majority of white people, when asked, say, why did you vote for Bush, as you said? And they say, well, I voted for him because he was black. I mean, white. It would be hell to pay. It would be burning this country down. But there's a double standard in America. Blacks are allowed to be racist. Blacks are allowed to outright
I tell you.
Promote it and get away with it.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to take a break. It's sort of like right now, if you're going to vote for Hillary because she's a woman, we're not going to say you're racist just because she's a woman. We'll just say because you're stupid. Okay. We're going to continue with the Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson in just a moment, founder-president of Bond. It's bondinfo.org and bondaction.org. And we're going to talk about those organizations when we return with the Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson.
When you really want Italian food, you've got to go to Columbo's. Columbo's Italian Steakhouse and Jazz Club, Colorado Boulevard, Eagle Rock. It's that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you. If you haven't been to Columbo's, you don't know what you're missing. Delicious food. The steaks on this side are fabulous. The seafood so fresh and flavorful. Columbo's family Italian specialties are Southern California legendary, and the meatballs, the best in the West, North, South, and East. Plus service that's friendly but not fawning, and jazz every night, and it's also affordable. That's what makes Columbo special, and they make special easy, whether for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. That's why when you really want Italian food, you've got to go to Columbo's, because it really is that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you. Columbo's, making special easy every day. Columbo's, mangia.
Homeowners, now is the season to be thinking about your roof, because all it takes is one storm to turn a small roof problem into a major leak. If it's time for a new roof, call Sears at 888-465-9720. You can save $500 if you call right now. Sears licensed, fully insured contractors can get your roofing job done right. Just call 888-465-9720. Sears has a variety of shingles and styles that are built for long-lasting performance, and you'll save $500 if you call now. So call Sears for a free and home consultation at 888-465-9720. Hurry, offer ends soon. Not available in all areas. Installation provided by Sears authorized licensed contractors. License information available upon request. That's Sears Roofing. Call right now and save $500. Call 888-465-9720. 888-465-9720. Call Sears now and get that roof repaired. Call 888-465-9720.
Hi, here's your delivery from Staples.com.
Thanks, Staples guy. Ugh, do you have stuff to clean this disaster of a break room?
Sure, Staples has wipes, paper towels, sprays, sponges, all at a low price.
How about these floors?
Disinfectant cleaners, mops, bucket with side press ringers, and yellow wet floor signs.
Anyone know how long it takes to reheat cod?
We also have air fresheners.
I'll take a case of those.
Make on budget happen, make cleaning up happen. Staples, make more happen. Now at Staples, get Scott 12-pack paper towels for just $7.99.
Offer valid on SKU 300469 in store and online. It's $3.28 while supplies last. See store staples.com for details.
Oh, CRN listeners, this is Michael Horn, inviting you to join me and my co-host, Sommelier Nicole Nielsen from Roost Chris Steakhouse, as we present What's Cooking on Wine. Find out about the latest trends in wine, great food, spirits, and a whole lot more. It's What's Cooking on Wine, done live at 6 o'clock Monday nights at Roost Chris Steakhouse in Pasadena, California, and then the replays throughout the weekend right here on CRN. So if you love wine and you love great food, it's What's Cooking on Wine right here on CRN.
Everybody's talking at me.
My guest, the Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson, author of Scam, How the Black Leadership Exploits Black America, also founder and president of Bond, and want to talk about Bond and the Bond Leadership Academy. You know, this is for boys and girls grades 1 through 12, the Bond Leadership Academy, and I certainly hope there isn't any Common Core there or we're lost, Reverend.
No way. I had enough Common Core in the public schools already. We have prayer. We have prayer and pledge allegiance every morning. We're teaching them reading, writing, arithmetic, and to love their country. We are teaching them a trade as they go through school. We are not doing Common Core, that's for sure.
Yeah. How long does it take on an average, if you can answer this, if you get a student, let's say somebody 8th, 9th grade, that says, why are you a sellout, Reverend? Why are you talking against the blacks. You're a black man. Why are you doing this? Why have you become an Uncle Tom? How long does it take normally to turn someone around? I'm sure if they started, from grade 1 there, it's not going to take long. But say you get a brand new kid off the street and he's a 9th grader.
With some, if they are ready to overcome their anger, we deal with that first, and then they change right away. But those who are unwilling to drop their anger, it does take a while for them, and in some cases they never change. But because that anger keeps them locked in, that's why we deal with the anger first, so that they can see what's going on. Because when you're angry, you're living in a state of darkness, and the truth look like the lie look like the truth to you.
And I'm going to tell the listener real quick, there is a website for the Bond Leadership Academy, and it is bondleadershipacademy.org. bondleadershipacademy.org, and it's for school for boys and girls grades 1 through 12, correct?
That's right. Grades 1 through 12. Chuck, I do want to weigh in, if I may, in what's happening in Arkansas. in Indiana and now in Arkansas.
Okay.
As you know, the governor signed a religious freedom bill there that had nothing to do with same-sex marriage, but it gave liberty to, the folks based on their religion. And as the Constitution is already done in the first, but due to pressure, the governor in Indiana is bagging back, going back on his word. And now we're getting the news, Fox News is reporting that the governor of Arkansas is also cowing down to the pressure from the people who are on the side of the lie. And I just want to tell the folks, as long as you have that kind of fear, we are never going to save America. Because when you have fear, fear is a weakness, and your enemies see that fear, and they'll just push you until you can't be pushed anymore. And that's what's happening. These two governors should be ashamed of themselves. They're Republican governors. They're acting like cowards, and I say shame on them.
You know what? And it's, I'm telling you, the progressive left propaganda machine, they really know how to run it.
They do.
They do a great job, and I know the Indiana governor was talking about how the mainstream media was just totally kicking all this out of proportion, and so now he's going along with what they're saying. Hey, we have run out of time here, and I was hoping we'd had time to talk about Starbucks Race Together, but just goes to show you, even when you try to start a conversation about race relations, guess what? The blacks complain.
That's right. They don't want the truth to get out that they are racist, Chuck. That's what it means.
All right. Hey, Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson, look forward to our next visit, sir, and you tell your guy to contact me anytime you're ready, okay?
I definitely will. Thank you so much, Chuck. I appreciate you.
Thank you. The website, bondinfo.org. And, of course, the bondleadershipacademy.org. Bondleadershipacademy.org. Jonathan E. Mord. He's next.
Are you tired of hearing your favorite talk radio show sound like this? What if you could hear your favorite shows in crystal clear, high-definition digital sound? Well, with CRN Digital Talk Radio's 6 channels of high-definition radio, you can now hear all of your favorite hosts like you've never heard them before in CRN HD. The difference is amazing. Catch your favorite political hosts like Dennis Prager, Tom Hartman, Barry Farber, and so many more. Entertainment and lifestyle programming like The Robert Conrad Show, The What's Cooking Show, and The What's Cooking on Wine Show, all in true CRN HD audio. Sports, business, travel, food, wine, politics, there is something for everyone, and it's all available in CRN High